guys, welcome to, spoiler alert, The Bad Batch. I am Mike with Mike W Productions, as you already know, and we are talking about The Bad Batch. So, with that being said, let's jump right into it. I got a little bit of a late start, so if you're seeing this a little bit later than usual, that is why. So in this episode of The Bad Batch, we have The Bad Batch getting another mission. They did, as I mentioned in the last of my videos, said, maybe they need to take a break and lay low for a little bit because there's people hunting all of them, basically. You have the other clone who didn't change, hunting them. You have these bounty hunters going after Omega, and she got captured in the last episode. So thinking, maybe we should take a break, just a thought, would be a good idea. But of course, their, slumlord, I believe her name is Sid, gives them another mission and says, hey, you guys still owe me for hiding you and feeding you and all this other stuff that she's apparently done for them. They don't want Omega to go with them because, well, what if one of these bounty hunters or the other stormtrooper pop up? And, that is a valid point. They're safer on their own. They do have a moment where I believe it is Hunter is like, where's Omega? And they're like, well, she's back at the thing, because they were like getting shot at, and he was like all worried that she was going to get captured or something. And he's like, well, she's back at the bar. And they're like, oh, okay, good, okay. So he does actually care about her. There's more of a relationship developing between the Bad Batch and Omega. They're teaching her stuff. There's very like fatherly relationships going on here, which is kind of good. Now I rewatched the what is it called? The Rebels. I rewatched The Rebels, and Rex is in that one, but the other characters are not these characters. So there are a few other Bad Batchers that are not technically a part of the Bad Batch or Clone Force 99. They're part of a different Clone Force, or maybe they were a part of different Clone Forces. I haven't really watched all of it. I just remember looking it up to make sure that Wrecker and Hunter and them aren't those characters, and they're not. So, but it's kind of funny because Rex pops up. Kind of made me think, is this supposed to be those guys? But no, they're different, totally different characters, which is fine. It just means that there's more defective clones in the mix, which I thought was kind of cool. In this, so we have them going on this mission. They have to help out this senator, or I think he's a senator of this planet, and as you guys know, the senators are kind of like queens or lower versions. So it's like king or queen, and then like senator, and then like everybody else. The senators, like, okay, Amidala, Princess Leia's mom, was a queen who did everything, and then she had a senator, and then when she had her run done, when her run was over, she became Senator Amidala. So she stepped down from queen to senator so she could do more political stuff. So this guy isn't like the planetary ruler. He probably just ruled like this area, and so they get a message from his robot saying that they will get paid to get him out. So they go and do that. Omega again gets left at the bar with Sid, and Sid thinks that she has some kind of statistical powers, which we kind of prove that she does. We know that the clones, each of the Bad Batch clones, has some kind of
a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career,
if you will. And hers is statistical analysis, basically. She's able to predict or like logically see things in her head about what's going to happen or the probability of something happening, and that kind of helped her with all of her Mary Sue-ness, if you will.
You will remove these restraints and leave this cell with the door open.
I will remove these restraints and leave the cell with the door open.
And you'll drop your weapon?
And I'll drop my weapon.
That's why she was able to get away from certain people. She was able to convince certain people of or certain robots of doing things for her. Some people say that she's an empath. Maybe she's an empath too, but she's definitely a version of how do you say it? Statistical thought processor. Okay, so she's able to win the game that you see Chewie and 3CPO playing.
Anyway, we should be at all around about 200 hours.
In the original Star Wars game, so that's kind of a callback to the original Star Wars, which has been called back multiple times. Even Mandalorian did it at one point. And it's just a great little callback. So of course Sid wants to use her and makes a deal with her, and so the Bad Batch is over here doing something. Sid and her are playing this game, and they get the Senator, they save him, yay. They get to the ship and they're about to leave, and the Senator's like, I need to stay with my people. And so the Bad Batch is like, yeah, but you're better off being safe, and it's better for them that you don't get to be used like a pawn. So he ends up going with them, and that's fine. They're going to get him to where he needs to go, and so they get him out of the way and then go back to the bar. When they get in, they see a lot of people running towards the bar, and that's because Omega is playing this basically like chess game and is winning, or about to lose actually, but she has one piece compared to the other players' two pieces. She figures out how to beat them with like three little number sequences, and it beats this one character, and then it beats up this other character, and then, they're like, oh, okay. And then Sid, they're like, okay, why are you letting our kid play this game and betting on it? Like, you're being a bad influence or something. Gambling is bad. And they're like, well, yeah, but she just wiped out all your debt, so you guys don't have to be with me anymore. You guys can go and do whatever you want now. And that kind of ends this episode, but I think it's pretty cool that they're finally getting a little more detail, a little more action than just like, let's hang out and do stuff. You know, like, they're finally getting more stuff going. Side missions are side missions, that's fine, but we're getting to know a little bit more about Omega, a little bit more about the actual team of Bad Batch. And the story is progressing pretty nicely now, to where it's not just, oh look, we have to go and do this again, or oh look, we have to go and get this done. It is in a way that, but it's better because now we understand, okay, yes, there are people that are coming for us. Now that we don't have to be here, we can leave and protect ourselves. And I think that's where we're going. Where it's going overall is not like confirmed. There's no real like point A to point B. It's just kind of point A to point A plus to point B plus or B minus, and then, you know, it's just kind of running all over the place. And the storyline is save the girl, I guess, and that's what we're doing. So overall, not a bad episode. Is it my favorite? No, but it's an interesting episode, and we learn a little bit more about these characters. Do I think, and this is kind of floating around in the dark web, that Omega might be a Force user? When you say Sith or Jedi, you're talking about very specific types of people. But when you say Force user, that just means anyone who uses the Force. Is it possible? Probably. I mean, clones are technically still humanoid. Even though they're synthetic, made up, they're still within the bounds of the Force, because the Force is used by all living things, not just all human or naturally born things. So could Omega be a Force user? Yes. Is there any versions of clones that have been Force users? I'm not sure. I'll have to get back to you guys on that in the next episode. Speaking of which, thank you guys so much for coming in. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. Drop a comment of your thoughts on this episode in the comments. Hit that little subscribe button if you want to see more, and we will see you next time. Peace.